Wintertime's wrapping up here in Northwest Michigan, and I know the Shinn 2023 kiteboards are going to be a little bit delayed this year coming out, so I thought I'd give my quick impressions of the 2022 Prismatic Shinn kiteboard lineup, since it's going to be a little bit before those 2023s come out. And a lot of those the 2022s will be coming on sale right now. I'm not going to bore you with lame-ass footage of my lame-ass back rolls or jumps. I'm just going to give you my quick impressions of each board. We'll start with the classic Shinn board, the Monk, right? This is what they're known for. It's a few years ago they added some channeling in the board, which made a huge difference. Added a lot of pop to the board, which it didn't have before. And there's longer sizes now. I feel like the newer boards are a little bit faster, especially the Monk is a little bit faster. Still the ultimate board for being easy on the knees and amazing in chop. Just butter smooth. The next one is the Ronson. The Ronson is their do-everything board, right? And this is what I throw in my car when I don't know where I'm going to be riding, if I'm going to be riding waves, chop, flat water. It does well in everything. Really good pop. It's really good. You really start to notice the performance of this board when the winds are, medium to high, but you can still ride it in low winds. I like riding the Monk more in the lower to medium winds, and this in the medium to high or medium. But just if you don't know what you're going to be riding, you don't know how your style is going to develop, this is just a good board for practicing everything. The next one is not the Bronc, it's the Absinthe, right? Now this replaced the Bronc, and I thought it was going to be the same board. It is not. It rides much crisper. The biggest thing I noticed, it rides much crisper when doing turns. The Bronc is a fast board, this is a fast board. The Bronc felt a little skatey in turns. This does not feel skatey. It's much, much crisper. And the other big difference between this and the Bronc is this had good feel under your feet right away. The Bronc took about 10 sessions to get a good feel of the board under your feet. This one was right out of the box. Super fun board. This is probably their best carbon board to date. Just all around, fantastic board in all conditions. You can really rip an edge in high winds with it. Again, I'd probably use the Monk for more low wind range, but this board is still very fast and feels good right out of the box. Highly recommend it. Next one is the ADHD. Now, I do not ride boots, and I don't ever plan to ride with boots. Really strong rails on this one. Their stiffest board, their heaviest board, but what I like to use this board for is when I'm starting to get teabagged and overpowered. Again, I don't like to switch kites. I switch over to this board, and it saves me from doing that because you can hold down an edge like no other with this board. Especially if you get some flat water, you can rip. It's pretty amazing. And it's got a lot of rocker in it, so it lands really smooth most of the time. But again, it's not something I'm using all the time, but I have to savor time when I'm out on the water. So this allows me, again, not to switch kites. Now, the Super King. I like to call it the King G. Strong rails on this, strong rails. Really flexible. Rides very similar to the Monk. It's playful for a big board. And it has a lot of flex. It's easy on the knees. Again, this is a session saver for me when the winds are getting light. I throw on this board and it saves me again from switching kites. And it's a big board. I'm a pretty big guy. So it saves me again from having to switch kites, which is amazing. And it's fun for a big board. The next one I want to talk about, we're going to jump over to their split board. It has the fanned tail. You lose the channeling in the middle, but this is still an excellent board. I just recently got back from the Keys and rode this down there, and I didn't even know I was on a split board, until I thought about it after the session. I was like, oh, I was on the split board. It was really fun. It reminded me of a cross between the Monk and Ronson in terms of the flex. Super smooth in the water. Not as buttery as the Monk, but pretty close. But more stiffness like the Ronson, so you could hold an edge really well when the winds were picking up. So I use this when I'm traveling, but locally too. So I have kids. We have a lot of crap in the back of our car. Don't have a lot of room, so I can throw in a kite. One kite and this board, and we can go to the inland lake where my kids' grandparents live, and I can ride this. And so it's definitely, even if you're not an international travel, if you're traveling locally and you have a lot of stuff you have to haul all the time, this is a good resource to have. Lastly, the Shinnster. I never thought I would own this board, but I gave it a shot. It is a session saver too, again on light winds, but it's just a little bit of a twist to mowing the lawn because you can practice different foot transitions, jibbing and jibing when turning, which makes light wind riding much more interesting, right? Really good in the chop, really good in small to medium waves. Definitely not a surfboard for the big waves, but definitely has a purpose in my quiver to keep things interesting on those light wind days. I hope this was helpful. Go find your Nirvana on the water. Give me some comments if you like it, didn't like it. Peace out.